right, good morning. Thank you for all of you coming. It's annual CCAR and stress testing time for banks this time of the year. So the safety and soundness of banks and U.S. economy is in this room. So this is an interesting time for all of us. First of all, I would like to thank many of you are coming. Some of my peers here and many colleagues that helping me to organize this, to make it happen. And in particular, H2O, because they organize everything for us. So first of all, thank you, Sri, and thank you for all the crew to make this thing happen. Last night, I had dinner, sit with a few of you, and particularly I haven't seen Jacob yet. Jacob and Adams and a few of the Atlanta people that in Atlanta. And as I said, I think we need to make this event the day before the MRM event as a tradition going forward. So we'll make it happen, and the Atlanta people need to host this time next year and the following year. So, and we'll find sponsors. I told Sri, Sri is going to sign up for next year if we want to do it again, right, Sri?
Absolutely.
So here we go. So we'll make a tradition from now on. The day before, let's have fun, and then the following day we can do the stuffy stuff with the FRV Atlanta. So thank you. And thank you to many of you who organized the event, and also to the agenda, etc. Today, I thought that I was thinking, well, since a lot of people talk about GenAI, let's make it a GenAI Day, and H2O is willing to do that. So we're going to do this the whole day. The topic will be GenAI. I would like to open it first because we talk about GenAI. I want to give probably a couple example that's in our world. That's H2O team put it in the very quickly, and I was worried about putting it a demo live. So we're going to do complaint analysis. So all of you know about complaint, and all of us worry about all the complaint stuff. So we're going to look at the complaint analytics using GenAI today. And they asked me to drive first time to do live. I said, well, the last time I did this with Ajun and Vijay Nair there in my team about 2 years ago when we did PyML live, that was a bit nerve-wracking because, okay, is this going to work or not going to work, right? So I said, Sri, I'm not going to do it. Sri is going to do the demo and clicking, and we'll go through that. So this is an example that hopefully give illustration some of the power of PyML, and H2O team put this thing very quickly, and this tool will be available for all of you who are interested in as well. The regulator will use it as well, Sri. The CFPB will use it, and OCC will use it. You're better off using it too, because if they're using it. So that's what we're going to talk about. So the team, H2O team, put the example with CFPB database, using CFPB data where there are millions of complaints in CFPB. So doing a complaint, exploring what is in the complaint, what kind of emerging things in the complaint, what is the topic, what is the emerging topic of complaint that's in the world of our customer. And for some of you that's not in banking, because we have people that are not in banking we have requirement from the time customer file complaint to get it done, 10 days, right? So 10 days you have to resolve the complaint. So be able to process the complaint really quickly, route it to the right people, to be able to resolve it quickly is very important. And this complaint come from voice, phone, conversation with customer that need to be summarized. And some of the complaint writing is not really good, need to be rewrite it and really well. So all those things is the power of GenAI. So the team is taking the CFPB from 5 million complaint and CFPB, doing all the chunking, parsing, all of the thing, creating vector database, and start doing the analysis and the fun part. Let's probably start with the complaint summarization first. Or this one here. So this is the theme of complaint, the outer complaint, and when and what month, and we can see it also broken down into banks, right, Sri? Do you have the view of banks? Which bank? what kind of complaint, the states, and all of those things. So all the kind of analytics that can be done through this. Maybe the interesting piece is going to the exploration. What are the emerging complaints that's happening out there that may surprise us, that we may not know? So if you go to topic extractor, this is taking all the complaint and let GenAI find the topic automatically. So you have some of them identity theft, some of them scam, some of the things. So those are topics that identify automatically by GenAI. It's clustered automatically, and here it is, the topic, and you can see the summary or the theme that coming. So maybe you highlight a little bit. Dispute of authorized transaction, scam and fraudulent activity, and all of those things. So you find automatically, if you see the cloud, those are the cloud of complaint for that particular topics. So this is done and generated by the power of GenAI, creating topic automatically, and then you can drill down. If you look at, if you can help me, Sri, to see the, probably scroll down a little bit down, for a particular complaint. So you have a complaint for particular complaint, for particular product, you can see it also well. Okay, for this particular product, what of complaint that we have, and what kind of the trend and all of those that's happening. And then if you're interested in particular complaint type, if you scroll down, Sri, if you can help me scroll down, then you can see here are the original complaint, and this is what summarization of complaint that's done by GenAI. So you can go all kind of analysis, finding, is there any surprise? Is this any new complaint topic that happened at Wells Fargo that not happening at Citi yet, that Citi may be interested in, right? Because, hey, it's show up in here. If somebody have the problem with unauthorized account opening, somebody else need to be worried about as well, right? So if somebody have a credit card complaint in this part from Discover, maybe other credit card provider will need to worry about as well, that one. So this kind of things is helpful. You can put it in your own database, customize it with your own database. In this case, it's using CFPB only. But in your case, you probably want to customize it with your own database. And I think the maker in H2O would like to hear some of the feedback from you so that they can improve the product that you can use. So that's one use case that you're going to learn as well during the training, hands-on training, to do all those complaint summarizer using H2O GPT. This is your own, and H2O will give the training as well today on how you build your own GPT so that data is not going anywhere. It's in your place, your own GPT, your own model to do all kind of this analysis. So that's part of the training that we have today. Probably the second one, if Megan, you want to help? This is probably the one that, because I have a lot of my peers in model validation, in model risk management and model development. How to writing model documentation is the most painful part, right? It's not the favorite of our model developer and model validator. So Megan is going to give a sneak peek of what the H2O GPT on the MRM side, how to help make it the model development document and model validation document faster by crafting, giving a couple bullet point, will write paragraph for you. Somebody that write model validation document, read automatically section from model development, will create draft or summary on the model validation piece. So that's, I don't want to steal the thunder that Megan has, so I want to Megan just give the thing. But first of all, thank you, and I'll turn it to you, Sri, to open it up.
Before you leave, this was a dream of a goose. Welcome to Atlanta, welcome to H2O GenAI World. Agus dreamed this maybe in the thick of Christmas, probably the week of Christmas, maybe days before. It is incredible testament to his lifetime of work and the relations he has built that this room is full. We are super excited to be a partner in that journey. And before you run away, I want to get the selfie. Thank you.
Hi.
Reconnect your thing.
Okay.
Reconnect it.
Oh. Hi, everyone. Thanks, Agus, for introducing. So another demo we're going to show this morning is Model Documentation Assistant. And as Agus mentioned, this takes a lot of time to generate documents for the model developer and the validator as well. So today I was going to show a live demo of an application we've made that takes a document from a model developer as well as a validation template and automatically generates content for the validation document. So on the right-hand side, I have my verbosity level, how much do I want to write, my audience expertise level, and I'll show how that works, as well as what context I want to use. So do we want to use the whole document of the developer, just one section, maybe a hybrid approach, and I'm going to submit it. And what's happening in the back end is it's going through the model template to generate this navigation bar. And then it's looking at the development document and summarizing, in this case, the validation performance based on the validation template. So we can look at the info. I can see the prompt is coming from the validation template. I say to keep the answer very short because of my verbosity level, and I can get the grounding text that was used, the similarity score, where it's located, just to get more information about the content. I can also do a validation conclusion. Now, this is a little bit different because, hold on. Refresh to this one. Okay, I'm gonna go again. This one's, we can also do a validation conclusion. Now this is a little bit different because it's not in the development document, it's my own validation. So I need to give input about why I think this is, validated and ready to go, or why there might be issues. So with that, I'm gonna click on the validation conclusion once this one's done and give some input to that model. So here I'm gonna enter my validation conclusion. The model's approved, but there's some issues, a little restrictions. I'm gonna submit it. Now what's happening under the hood again is that the development document plus my input, plus all of the customizations and configurations are being sent to the generative AI model, in this case H2O GPT, and it's generating the conclusion on the fly. You can see it here. All right, and if I go just to play around and show one more example, let's change the verbosity level to 3, and let's try it again. So it's gonna go through the model development template again, model validation template again rather, and get the information, but this time I'm telling it, write as much as you can, make it really long. And so it's going to change our output from before with a lot more text, a lot more content, and we can add more configurations depending on how customized we want this and what we wanna change. So once this is done, we'll see a lot more written. So here's the same section again, but the model, the generative AI is knowing that I want a lot of content, so it's writing quite a bit more than the one paragraph earlier with bullet points, and it's using the full development document to answer this. So we can see, write the answer in a very verbose way. Right? And then one thing we're adding that I'll just kind of walk through quickly is the ability to edit this as well. So this is a content generated, but I might want to change this depending on my feedback or my information. So we can edit this, and maybe, for example, maybe I'll do an edit, but I won't do it in the best way. I'm just going to repeat the first sentence twice. So what's happening under the hood is it's going to check the edits and see if it's not concise or redundant, if it's inaccurate. So not only can we use the generative AI from H2O to generate the initial content, but we can also have it edit, or rather check our edits to see if there's any improvements that can be made. So with that, I think I will pass it to Sri. Thank you.
Thank you. This guy. Thank you. Thank you, Megan. Model documentation. I think I can't imagine the number of times people get excited about writing model documentation and then reading them and summarizing them. So it's a room full of audience that absolutely gets the pain behind it. So super excited to kind of hopefully make that. I think Auguste had 3 C's for it. Maybe it's really 4 C's. Complete, concise, because there's so much of model documentation that's copy-pasted from generations of the model history, right? Make it concise, complete, and also kind of way we can learn something new about the model every time. So I think we hope to build you a tool that you can actually start seeing as the document is being formed, how the spider graph looks, and if it's really good, then off you go. So I think that's kind of it's an early cut of a very long journey, so we're allowed to get feedback on that. So both products are, I mean, I think you saw they're very fresh. So and Auguste has been a co-creator on some of that. So I think that's why I wanted to just get started. It's going to be, as you can understand, a very hands-on. Hopefully, we can learn a lot from a lot of community conversation as well. We don't want to push a lot of the content. We want to almost pull so much I learned from these pre-event dinners that you have over the years. So I'm allowed to kind of continue this tradition. Just want to get started on where the core mission of H2O to democratize AI. And when we saw that GenAI was obviously becoming very capital intensive, our immediate response was, how do we reduce the cost of LLM's cost of GenAI for our customers? H2O, for those who are learning of us for the first time and tuning in, might have seen this slide before, is the home to the largest Kaggle Grandmaster community. Also, I think in audience, at least, I've counted at least 5, if not 6 KGMs here, but several of the former world number ones and people aiming to become that. But millions of community members have been downloading, using our platforms over the years and giving continuous feedback. So H2O is actually a very good community co-creation work over the years. We're obsessed with our customers. So many of you in the audience, in the front rows here even, thank you for all your incredible partnership. We wouldn't be here without our customers. And over the years, we've seen them rise ranks. Our prediction that the rise of the data scientists, there will not be a Fortune 500 company which is not led by a data scientist or an AI engineer by 2030. And I think that actually clock is every day seems to come nearer and nearer. So we are looking at the audience that will be running this planet. So we're super kind of grateful for the partnership. Which brings me, the company is all makers, past, present, and future, right, have been part of our journey, and the movement is just getting started. So AI is it's just the beginning of that. It's a song from our culture praising the work of the past, of the future that's coming, all greatness that has led to today, and the age ahead is captured in this moment. And I think when some of the folks in the stage were trying to get Marie Curie and Maria Mirzakhani into one place, and you can see our Ramanujans from the century ago. We're blessed to be in an age where math is back at the center of transformation. AI is math, right? Sort of, there was an earlier discussion, ML, AI. It's all really, at this point, even still matrix multiplication, right? So we have a lot more to build on. Why are LLMs taking the world by storm? This Georgia font slide, which is actually our homage to Georgia and Atlanta. I've carried this over the last 10 years. When it gets to storytelling, it gets fun, right? We hope to be really in the moment of storytelling in the years ahead. So I think that's kind of the really fun part. A lot of us data scientists in the audience, so passionate about our data. I think the road ahead is paved in storytelling. And I think it's super awesome that the journey is just starting. Another simple slide, prompt is your IP. And I think as much as prompt is the new SQL, prompt is the new code, prompt is the new ML, we've seen all of those variants, but it is your thinking, it's your questions that are actually so valuable. And I think I remember in one of our series seed slide even, we said an approximate answer to a good question is a fair degree more valuable than an accurate answer to not so great question. I think that was John Tukey, and that moral compass is still how we're building the company. And I think there's you're going to see variations of this ecosystem that the team has been building. We started with LLM Studio and H2O GPT, or open source rendition of other LLMs. The Data Studio allowing you to do ETL. Labeling is a big part. Data is the most valuable asset in here. Prompt, you've probably seen prompts, different variations of prompt tuning, Prompt Studio. Eval Studio, you're going to eval-led GPT building, eval-led app building is going to become hot. And I think what we are really shooting for as a company, as a community now, is the convergence of predictive AI and generative AI, and how you can use AI's agentic behavior to leverage what it's not good at beyond linguistic and visual generative AI. So that's one, just kicking off a few slides here, but really the theme that has driven H2O to the core has been that time is our only non-renewable resource, and our time on this planet is limited, and we want to leave the place better than where we inherited. And I think there's a lot AI can do. We started the company to use AI and math for good, whether to fight cancer. When my mom had breast cancer, we decided to go use math to understand it better. And I think there's so many problems around us, inequality to inequity, inclusion. There's just so much good work that this brain power can do for us. And so ours has been a clarion call, whether to fight poachers with AI, with endangered species, or with predicting hurricanes better, for preventing loss of life, but and democratizing fairness in lending, which is passionate for the audience here. I think in most team, this captures most of how we resolve our things. I remember distinctly when Agus and I caught up the first time and said, the ReLU function, Sri, that will let you do the linear way to explain deep learning. And I think it's really kudos to that same thinking many years later, that one of the greatest discovery in antibiotics just came through explainable deep learning. Which brings me to what are we up to? And I'm going to start off with pulling up what we are announcing today. I think the team is on the Zoom call. Say something, guys, to see.
Hello, hello.
All right.
Hello, everyone.
Let me just. So today we are announcing the world's one of the smallest models, right? So what we are passionate about is the cost of AI. How do we get the small LLMs work? And this team has put together kind of in it costs about the same cost of a Toyota car, maybe, not even a Tesla car, right? To build this LLM from scratch, from all the way from pre-training. We named it apropos when we launched driverless AI. We had the Blue Danube playing, H2O Danube, after the river, and I think it's FP8 precision all the way. So from the beginning, so quantization becomes easier. Stepwise increase in sequence length all the way till 16K, and group-wide query attention. It's consistently increased through the various epochs of the build, all the way to a trillion tokens. It's incomparable. It's a reasonably competitive model. Stability released one most recently. Otherwise, it was for a brief moment on the top of the planet. But that's what the Kaglers know, how to come back and keep improving. On the chat performance, it's actually quite awesome, which is kind of the most common ways this platform is going to be used, using different benchmarks that are becoming standard. Of course, benchmarks can be benchmarks. We really want to make them work for real. So with that, I'm going to ask a couple of questions to this team. First of all, congratulations, Pascal, Eugene, and Philip. What's the
Thank you, Sri.
question that comes to the mind is why 1.8 billion and not 7 billion or larger?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, this is probably the first one in hopefully a series of models that we are trying to train and trying to put out. It is also smaller models that quite good use cases, especially in terms of like being very efficient, being also more suitable for some of the open source community, which has more consumer-based hardware. And while 7B is kind of the standard for many, there is still a lot of use cases that can be solved with smaller models. And I think this is really an interesting place also for us to really try to get some of the best performances in the smaller ranges. But we are also planning to extend this to larger models, more data. Currently, as you mentioned, this is only trained on 1 trillion data, while some of these comparable models are trained on up to 4 trillion tokens. So yes, this should be seen as a first very exciting step for us, and hope for more to come.
My answer to that is it fits on one GPU machine, right? Sort of one H100 all the way. So it reduces the cost. I mean, if you're willing to wait 45 days to build a model, you can really build this on one machine, one H100, 8 chips, right? Sort of so that one H100 machine of eight chips of GPUs. So it's a pretty simple model. Obviously, you can further train with your tokens, right? Sort of and extend it and give it more characters. Pascal, what was surprising in the build? I know you guys got it right on like one run, right? Sort of, or 1.5 run. But I know we borrowed incredible amount of work from open source, all the various techniques.
Yeah, what we tried from the beginning on was to incorporate all the tricks that have been discovered by open source community and were shared in papers and in code by the community. So as you said, we incorporated floating point 8 precision during training to make use of the H100s. We also have this increased sequence length. We tried a lot with different tokenizers, different data set structures. So there is, as always, a lot of testing around what helps best to get the best model out there. And I think in the end we can be pretty confident that we squeezed out the most that was possible from this 1 trillion token data set.
Eugene, the three of you won the LLM science exam, right? Sort of what kind of data techniques were kind of needed to get this right, or additional data? Where is the model good at, and where is it not good at? I think that's the second question.
Yeah, this is a good point. So indeed, we participated together in the Lego competition, the first ever Lego competition of LLM managed to win. And we actually did a lot of testing out there, integrated both like in this LLM Foundation training and also like in H2O GPTE that you'll see later today. And actually, it was quite a successful experience that also allowed us to get a better data for this model. And yeah, if you're asking about limitations, I would say that there is no limitations, right? So our model is pretty good, and you can see it on the benchmark. And yeah, we hope that it is really useful for you.
Fantastic. Well, as most of our attempts here are the beginning of a long journey here, there are a couple of different directions we are likely to take. One is continue to build a better version of Mistral, but what if you can actually get Mistral scale performance at a smaller form factor, right? So the inference cost benefits for the customers are massive. So I think we are kind of thinking about a couple of different directions here to go. Obviously, most of it is a question of better capital utilization. We are a company on the path to break even, or roughly in a very like built ground up to be sustainable. So we want to obviously seek partnerships as well, because most of you can do this, and our goal is to teach all of you to build this, and maybe that vision of everybody having their own LLM on their cell phones even is multiple LLMs personalized for each of us, both our personal LLM, our professional LLM, and the universal LLM that we want to think about. That's the future, and we're going to make this further democratized. What's the smallest LLM that performs good enough, and then put a mixture of experts together. So, well, this is the team that's winning Kaggle contests on LLMs across the board. It's joined by several top rankers. Phillips, the former, almost keeps waffling between 2 and 1. Pascal, world number 4, 3 highest rank before Eugene, and I think there's a whole slew of team behind them making this happen. So super pumped. So big up to the team here, and look forward to the next Gen AI world, when you're probably, which is not far from now, but probably a quarter or two to see where this efforts last. This is a 100% Apache V2 model, so most of you can use it and give us feedback as well. So thank you. Sorry if the audio wasn't perfect, but most of the audio folks get a shock when they see that we're bringing remote folks quickly. Let me jump into the second. We have a few videos here. Let me bring up two other incredible pieces of innovation that jump-started our open source work in Gen AI, H2O GPT and LLM Studio, which is there for, it has the DPO method. You can absolutely use it. The team that was on the call earlier was also instrumental working on Hydrogen Torch, which you might have seen as our Transformers engine. LLM Studio is open source. Both of them Apache V2 open source. I know we have the maker of H2O GPT in front row, so it'll be much easier, hopefully, with the mic. Arno and team have been working on it. McKinney is leading the effort, so it'll be fantastic to kind of get a feel for what are the things that you're trying to build in the road ahead. I'll just quickly bring up the demo of his product.
Sure. This was our baby attempt, our first attempt at RAG, and also fine tuning with Arno.
It is on.
Oh, there it goes. Okay. And so this was our first attempt, and we wanted to use open source technologies like LangChain and other things and explore what they're all about. And it was our playground, and it still is kind of our playground for discovering what works in open source. And in my mind, the big picture is that OpenAI is kind of like a monopoly. You know, Google has come along, but and also Anthropic has come along after them. But really, they have this huge resource, and the question has always been, in a lot of people's minds since about a year ago, is what can we do if we don't have Microsoft has backed money with $10 billion, $20 billion to spend? What can we do to do something similar? And I think the open source community and we have contributed to chipping away at all the secrets of OpenAI and being able to work as a community to really understand how to make the best models to compete with OpenAI and Google. If you look at any one of the leaderboards, you'll see that there's always these open source models that are hovering or even exceeding some of these proprietary models. So that's exciting because it saves money. That's primarily the goal. You don't want OpenAI to get all the money. We want to share the money, right? So, and this tool has been a useful way of benchmarking our enterprise product. So the enterprise product has come along and taken over for the company as the foundation of our RAG offering. And it's still, this open source part works as sort of the communicator to LLMs.
Don't buy another pair of glasses until you've seen what this...
Sorry. It communicates to our all our LLMs in the back end. So it still kind of forms the sort of core of our enterprise H2O GPT RAG offering. But it allows you, we have ability to ingest audio, video, to produce audio, all these different kinds of modalities. It can be multimodal, it can understand images, it can understand videos. And you can use it if you want it to stream the LLM response and get an audio from that, or you can just ask it to convert the text to audio. All these different dimensions are being explored and are being integrated with the enterprise version of this product. Thanks.
Thank you. I think the most common demo we have on this one is actually ingesting a video, which is roughly where we're going earlier. With that, I want to bring up the next phase here on what we're doing with Enterprise GPT-E. How many of you have built their own RAG in the last 12 months? I'm sure everybody in this audience has attempted build your own enterprise RAG. The team has been busy at work and making sure the most stable RAG system is out there. Obviously, it's a very simple demo here. I'm going to start with how our banking customers are using GenAI. One of our leading banking customers, Combank, has an investor presentation, which we essentially are able to ingest, build all the embeddings, and start giving a very strong Q&A experience for our customers. I'm going to jump quickly to the a collection that the same document I just loaded hardly a few minutes ago. Let's ask a simple question and bring Arno to voiceover for us. Seems like a good day for presenting together, pair presenting, so pair programming. List 10 ways H2O AI is helping the bank. Behind this is we're using GPT-4. It doesn't have to be using only open source. You could be using Mixtral. You could use any one of these models. You can use your own model, obviously, after you build it to Claude, Gemini, right? Sort of I mean, at the heart, H2O has always believed the best AI should be at the hands of the customer. And so that's roughly how this has been designed. Maybe, I don't know if you want to bring up a couple of new things that are coming here.
Yes, absolutely. So what's going on here is that the question that Sri was asking is being embedded into a vector space, right? And then in the numeric space, it's being compared to all the data that's been uploaded before by him into a collection. So you're going to have a collection of, say, 1,000 documents, like your knowledge base. And when you ask a question, it finds the right stuff from that knowledge base and gives it in text form to the LLM. Any LLM that you saw, like open source, closed source, on Azure, OpenAI, wherever you want it, and you get back an answer by the LLM. But if you put a prompt engineering just right, and you say you must not use any information from outside these text chunks, then you can force it to be grounded. So we are collaborating between this enterprise product and the open source product. We're using the open source connection to the LLMs as a prompt engineering vehicle, but we're doing a lot of document processing in enterprise H2O GPT-E. So the conversion of the PDFs to plain text is a critical piece to understand the layout of the slides, or documents that have images and flow charts and so on. That's a challenge. So
what differences have you found with Llama 2 or Gemini or Claude even?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that, like, for example, the Mixtral model is our new default now, and it's just as good as GPT-4 for RAG, right? So we're at the point where the LLM isn't the limitation anymore, and you can do really well with even a 7 billion model that the 3 grandmasters you saw earlier were building. That is a model that's only 1 point off out of 140 questions in comparison to GPT-4. So open source models are fine if you give it the right text, right? So the only question is, how do you get the right text out of your knowledge base? If you ask a question like, what is the text you should give to the LLM? Once LLM can do English, it's good enough, roughly speaking. It doesn't need to do complicated, extraction and all that. That's the part of this enterprise platform, right? It finds the right information for you. And there is many things. It's like, just like XGBoost and LightGBM, you could have said, oh, that's ML, right? That's good enough. You just need XGBoost and you can build anything. But the reality was we spent 6 years building driverless AI, where we had to do all the extra stuff like ensembling, cross-validation, all the tuning steps. The same thing will be true here. You can't just throw a PDF into an LLM, right? You can try OpenAI's RAG right now. You'll see it's not as good, right? The hard part is to take all the data, manage it, convert it to text, and process that properly so that when you ask a question, you get the right answer. And of course, there's tons of settings. Like you could say, hey, I'm a Spanish, legal assistant. My embedding model is a multilingual model. I have an LLM that's meant for Spanish. And now it's becoming a prompt engineered Spanish assistant, right? That does just the right stuff. And you can also, do more than that. You can of course build your own evals on top of it, once you know the kinds of questions you're asking. So there's the whole platform is much more than just a RAG system. It's also an automatic document summarizer that is fully customizable.
I commonly get this question, how are you able to find the right highlights in the document?
Yes. So every word, every character that comes into the system is being processed individually. So we're not just looking at, here's a PDF, bunch of text. No, we're looking at every character. There's a whole document AI team behind this processing to make sure that we know the placement of each character. And when they get placed, you also know, like, is it right of it, left of it, above? Sometimes there's a title and a number, right? Is the number for the next word or for the previous word? How does it belong together? So that when you ask for net revenue from some slide that someone made, when it says 2023, 6 billion, is that 6 billion for 2024 that's on the next line, or for 2023 on the previous line? All those connections have to be made. You see that these kinds of tables are the fun part, right? So once we know where what is, we can also show you, of course, once the LLM is taking it to make up the answer, this is where it came from. And there is much more work ahead to attribute literally the characters used that have most impact on the log probabilities that come out at the end of the model. So there is a lot of interesting research going on in the understanding of the inner workings of the LLMs and how they fetch the information, and to make the context, that it sees good for long context. So if you give it 16 pages and you ask a question, how do you know it's still good? Does it need to be in the beginning or in the end, or is it okay if it's in the middle somewhere? All these things are, important for us to figure out.
And this is all programmable. English is a very good programming language. How are customers going to expose this as an application for their end user?
We should probably say the whole system is scalable based on Kubernetes, right? There's HA components, all these different pieces are scalable, so you can have 6 different chatbots, 6 different or 20 different crawlers that process PDFs. You can share with other people. You can run this in the cloud or fully air-gapped, like literally air-gapped. You can walk with a memory stick into a basement and install it there, including the LLMs, including the Hugging Face clone, everything needed to run this system. You can run on a memory stick or off a memory stick into your on-prem deployment. And all of it has, of course, Python clients that you can programmatically talk to the system. So it's fully tested. It's our full-time job for the last year, basically, as the core team at H2O to build this. So we are now all in on GenAI.
The ML ops, or rather, we asked a simple question: how do I deploy a model generated from H2O open source? And I think you see the answer. Ask H2O as a whole is 100% open source app as well. You could fork this and start building Ask AT&T, Ask Bank, right? So I think this would be a simplest, easiest way to fork the app and start building your own customer support agents, for example. Anyway, this space is just like on a tear, changing by the day, all the way from re-ranking your models to your retrievals to it's a retrieval game as well as the generative game. I think the longer contexts are going to certainly be useful here.
We also added guardrails and summarization for documents, fully customizable summarizations with cost estimates up front, basically how much it would cost to make a summary with this model versus this model and so on. So there's a lot of work going on.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Arno. And I think it's a group of folks working behind the team. And I think GPT, today you'll probably play with it. At the freemium, I was demoing straight off the website. You can use, everybody with a Google or a GitHub can use it. It's a freemium account, so you should be able to play with it and take home a RAG that you can actually build on your documents. I'm gonna try and squeeze through this other topic. How do you converge the two worlds, predictive AI and generative AI? And I think most of you who know us have used our H2O3, the world's most widely used GLM, generalized linear method, the generative, the predictive automatic machine learning, which was built by several of the folks in audience here, the makers. How do you default payment? Next is we started this as a first test case. I remember launching this 2017 with the same exact data set. And I think what we are super pumped to bring together is the two worlds of generative and predictive through the agents architecture, right? So how do you bring those two together? And I think this is kind of very, again, early phase of using prompt to kind of drive that journey. I don't know how this is showing. Let me just make this bigger. How should I predict who will default payment next? Now again, this is just the beginning of the fusion between all three planets, right? Generative and predictive. I'm trying to get this to become smaller, but it refuses to. I think the idea is that GenAI is very good at creating very good at English, but it can actually call a calculator if it needed to. I think that's kind of the phase here. With that, I'm gonna pull up the team that's working on bringing the combination of these two together. Agents. Eval Studio. So eval led. You're going to play a lot of eval eval work this later today. We think that without evaluations, a lot of what you're doing is it works on one or two use cases. Is it working consistently? How well it is doing? And I think Srini and team, McKinney, Mark Landry here have been working on bringing a ton of evaluations to the fore. But I think Eval Studio is going to be kind of a at the heart of how do you build much of these pieces together. I think there's a bunch of good kind of how do you bring different evaluators to fore between ragas and hallucination indexes and so on and so forth. So I think this is just the beginning of our work. You'll see a lot of work, demo and training throughout the let me see, I think I can strictly bring Srini's latest link to the training LLM Eval Studio. So, the team took SR 11.7 and started building Q&A on top of it across different LLMs. Seems like the retrieval failures are low, but I think you're going to play with some of these LLMs today. Both how does an LLM pass a teller exam? Creating evals for each of your use cases is going to be the driver force for how the road ahead here is. So I'm gonna, since you will be playing with this at length for second half of the day, I'm gonna touch light on this and jump to the next one. Document AI, prompt powered AI for documents. I think we have Ryan and Mark in the audience here. So let's bring them to the fore so I can get a couple of sound bites from them. So tell us what's happening here. I'm going to start trying to get us a demo here.
Sure. So we've been using Document AI for several years, and one of the things we've noticed is that large language models do a really good job out of the box. What we've been asking customers to do historically is put a lot of labels on all their documents, be very specific, think clearly, and the large language models give you a really big head start because they just kind of know stuff. And we've been using good NLP models the entire time. We've been using DBERTA, we've been using ones crafted specifically for documents. But here what we're trying to do is use large language models in two different ways. One, we're going to go ahead and prompt them like you all are used to with just GPT, just putting a prompt out there and getting the data back. And so we can get your annotations started that way. And possibly your use case is good enough there. But most of our customers do a little bit of tweaking. And so what we're going to do is bring all the large language model to get you started. You can make updates, you can change formatting, you can do a few different things. And then you're going to use a different technique that's not quite so widely known as prompt tuning, where we're actually going to treat it like a supervised problem. So we're going to take the large language model and we're going to actually train the prompt as what it really is. And we're not going to talk too much about the specifics, but you can read up on this technique. But it's rarely used, but so it's a nice hybrid using the large language model twice. Once to get you started, you can kind of play around with prompts just like you might be used to, like you'll do later today. Get something that gets you really close, maybe even very good on almost everything. Then you can kind of deploy that on your whole data set. And that's the idea, is that when you've loaded 100 documents, 1,000 documents, play around with your prompt, get something that you like, and then you can either make some minor corrections or work on it, and then you can tune a model so that you can get exactly what you need, and you can deploy that very efficiently. Prompt tuning models deploy very efficiently in an environment very much like what you'll see today with GPT-E.
What's behind what's going on here per se?
Sure. So here we have, and so this is really key to document AI use cases. So we're showing you what the image is over here, and this is kind of an annotation studio, so you can, it's a little going to be small over here, but we can see that there's OCR in the background, just again, like you'll see with H2O GPT later today. And here, I can ask a large language model already. I can try some of the prompts here. You can craft your own. Here we go. So this is asking, it's already got a prompt started, but it's a receipt extractor. We're going to ask for a few things. And so what we have at the end here, maybe a little hard to see, but is the JSON behind it. And so we are getting a company, a date, address out of this. And in this case, if I want to change anything, and I don't have it, let's just say I wanted to add an 09 at the end of each of these because that's what my use case requires or something like that, and it's part of the receipt, you can make a very easy adjustment, and it's meant to be quick. And that's what we've taken that philosophy from the previous tool where we try to get language models going, but people have found that they need to label 50, 100, 400 before they can really get going, before it's good enough that it's faster to correct because the mistakes can be all over there. The zero-shot models are much more direct. They're very good out of the box, and then you can just slightly tweak them as, to get what you need. And again, that's very important to get that final version exactly like you want. You may need to shift dates around or things like that, so you may do some light adjustments. So here, if I hit this generate button, I'm going to get live the version. We can choose some of the GPTs we have over here. I can hit generate, and it's going to go ahead and immediately, it's going to blow away what I just changed. But it's going to bring back live that response. I can kind of look at what I've got here. Again, maybe again, I wanted to add that 09 on the end of this one. And then I want to save it. So what I'm doing is I'm always kind of creating this training set for myself. This is supervised learning, really what we're doing here. And so I can save that into my annotations, work on the next one. What I'm really looking to do is, and I can batch generate. So then if I'm happy with this prompt, this is doing everything that the zero-shot model can reasonably do, I'll go ahead and hit batch generate, and I'll get zero-shot model to run on all my documents. And then I can quickly review them. I can get other team members to review them, whatever the most efficient way through is. And when you're done, we can run, you can either use that as you want, or we can train a model with those results. And so each time I hit save, or I can craft it to where the zero-shot models directly save everything and I just approve it, we can actually train a model underneath, which itself is an LLM as well. So I'm going to go ahead and pull my data sets here, pull my target. I can do multiple, or let me go after target. Sorry, not hitting the button very clearly here. There we go. So yeah, we have an LLM. We have also the donut model. That's an interesting one. Won't spend too much time on that one, but that's a multimodal. It's actually interesting because our normal model through the large language model, just like H2O GPT that you'll see, is going to run our best OCR. It's one that Ryan's trained himself, so that's what we use in all our products right now. And so the large language model has OCR in front, and we're going to send that OCR into the large language model, like Arno said, with a lot of specifics of how we lay it out to optimize the performance of the LLM. We're also looking into other generative techniques. So Donut is one. There's several of these multimodal models that are out there that are generative, but then they look at the image itself versus our typical GPTs are going to treat text only. So you have a couple different options for how you want to solve the problem. For very difficult documents, the latter might work really well. So it's exciting that it's the same construct allows us to explore both options. But with the large language model, again, you're going to see a lot of these same options if you're playing with H2O GPT later today that we have in here. Actually, this one. So we have a couple Llama 2, 7B chat, 13B chat. There's quantization, a lot of the typical techniques that you'll see in some of our other products. But then again, we're getting a supervised model right here on all the data that I've saved along the way. Maybe the zero-shot model started me out. I corrected some things, or I started from scratch, whatever's easiest, the fastest way possible to get a training set so that we can actually train prompts in here with with large language models. So that's
probably Ryan. What's prompt tuning?
So typically people do prompt engineering, which is finding exactly the right question to ask your model, and prompt tuning is kind of the machine learning way of finding that analytically rather than just typing it in yourself. Using your supervised learning, you're able to find the optimal prompt back.
So one of the things that was intriguing about that prompt tuning method was the LLMs were beginning to talk without necessarily using all English, right? So maybe you want to touch on that a bit.
Yeah, so one of the incredible things about prompt tuning is we're kind of limited in our English. We can represent the information that we want to extract back, and the LLM has sort of its own internal language, and it can represent things even more efficiently. So it might be able to fit in 64 tokens what you had to do hundreds of tokens for.
So, long story short, we think that this is just the beginning. Prompt tuning was something we used to improve document AI. We think that's a generalizable technique for different spaces, and I think we're slowly bringing that extracting out of the product to roll it out to your use. So you can add something.
No, I was just going to touch on that. Ryan actually added a mapping for us internally so that you can see the closest tokens to what it picks. And very quickly during the training process, you start to see Cyrillic characters in there. You start to see just kind of a mix of things. And you start to see things that you know. If you're going for JSON format, you're going to start to see it pull in things like XML and other things that are really close. So you can see it kind of working. But we're training a model to learn the best embedding is actually what we're doing really with the prompt tuning.
Excellent. We have no dearth of good demos ahead today. One thing that came to us from a customer, no less, is procurement. So we were trying to obviously work with procurement teams to try and see how to bring our product into your banks. In one such bank, we found out that we can actually help the procurement team itself after spending some time with how they're doing contract negotiation. A lot of time goes back and forth in the legal counterparties telling what's the best way to negotiate. I think what we found was that the product itself is able to see the differences in the contract, the differences in different clauses, and start helping procurement teams globally, which is operational cost. I think the team started co-creating with the customer and started building the GPT for procurement. Megan has been at the forefront of that. It led to a different place, which is, can we extend that product to generalize it for a wider scale use of how we learn about differences in documents. This is the executive order for AI, and in the US and the European Commission's AI regulation. And I think we want to see what are the differences, what are the similarities in different clauses, and how certain concepts are overlaid differently across two completely different documents, although they are both trying to regulate AI, and how they've approached. I think how the concept is spread across this document, this very likely going to be the front end for most of our product work, and how it organizes knowledge, both as clauses, but the spread of those clauses between two different documents. And I think we see this is going to transform how we learn, how we read papers, how we read contracts, how we negotiate contracts. One of our customers wants to use it for investment in the investment banking, wants to use it to describe derivatives, especially from the place they started to the place they ended in terms of the negotiation of the contract. So I think there's a very rich set of use cases that emerge. Ask PDF or Chat PDF was the first edition of the RAG. I think the next edition here is Compare them, and the diff is going to be a very important tool in there. So stay tuned on this one. This is again fresh of press, if you will, and this it's just beginning to kind of get its full. The lens just got in there, and the team is working busily on this. Prithvi is one of our chief technologists who's been the brainchild between several of our products, is powering this one. So that's kind of the generalization of document differentiation. I think we think that the number one limitation for LLMs today is their cost. How do we kind of reduce cost of that? Large inference cost, data. Our view on AGI is that AGI is going to be also owned by the community and open source. The world's powerful AI, it needs to be built in the community, in open, with the million data scientists on Kaggle, we want to start breaking different levels of AGI and the barrier there. That's it. I think you've always seen me end with this will be fun. A lot of our customers, we have a very strong banking customer base. Many of you are here in the audience. You're super pumped. We're beginning to build a large partnerships in the government sector as well, globally. I think it's just the beginning. We're learning so much from our customers every day. Open source is really about freedom and not just free. We want participation across the board. Want to raise a forest, not just a tree, right? And every one of you will own multiple LLMs and GPTs. I think this vision is now more or less democratized. Every purpose needs voice, and I think AI is nothing without the dream. We would love for all of you to think of AI as a super profit center, asset light, first-class asset that can essentially drive value. Several open source ecosystem members have been behind and helping. We've learned from them. There's probably more than what we put in a single page. But this would not be possible without all of the work that they have put together. They're on the shoulders of giants. We think that AI is going to absolutely bring abundance. And the only true moat here is, for all of us, is our customer. The moat's not the product, the technology, or it's of course our culture of innovation, but also our customer centricity, both for us and for our customers. We are beginning to co-create with our customers, so it's a clarion call for all banks to come work with us to see if we can co-create and build that very powerful app store that can help the vast majority of the world. I want to leave with a simple thought that AI is a force for good. A lot of H2O work, we attract incredible talent because our folks are working consistently to fight different causes, both partnering with nonprofits, partnering with our customers at times to build these contests. And I think it's just the world of AI is an oyster ahead. So with that, I want to leave with wish you well.
Touch a coin and I wish you well, and I just want to wish you well. Gotta love.
We have an incredible repertoire of folks on the call today on stage.